All right.
We are back. This is the Sports Clash. We are here. We are recording on Sunday night. We'll be out Monday, April 29th. But oh my goodness gracious. What a sports weekend. I'm doing phenomenal. Chris, how you doing, bud?
Wonderful, man, but definitely not as good as you. Definitely not as good as you. Rocking the jersey, rocking the hat.
Oh
1 o'clock
yeah.
Sunday, Knicks
Let's
game, taking down
go.
Philly.
Let's go. It
Oh,
was the Garden. Like I mean, Embiid, it was so bad that Embiid at the end of the game was like, that was disappointing. He
I
talked
saw that.
talked
It was
about the
noticeable. It was noticeable.
yeah, it's weird because like obviously it's so close. The ticket prices in Philly compared to MSG are crazy. It's just such a stark difference. And you also have all the Villanova boys on there. So you have that Villanova crew who's ready to just show up and cheer. And that was just it was nuts. I don't know what else to say. It's 3-1. It's 3-1. The Knicks could have swept them, really. The last game that was Joel Embiid's I'm a little baby back bitch game, and I'm gonna get what I want because I think we got screwed in game two, so I could do what I want now. And then he's still like he's got and Joel Embiid. The best part of Joel Embiid's game is he just throws his whole body weight onto the other player's ankles. That's like his best offensive weapon. It's
That's
pretty
his
it's
signature
it's
move.
pretty impressive. Like look, I always kind of I knew Joel Embiid was one of the best centers in the league. He's a big man. He grabs boards, he scores 30, 40, 50 points a game. It's impressive, but like you don't see him a lot. And the Knicks this year, like they handled the Sixers pretty well for the games that Embiid was actually healthy. So I was just like, yeah, whatever. And then the series started. I'm like, oh, this guy's a fucking real piece of shit, huh? Like he's just he's a dirty player. It's really crazy. And his coach backs him up. Nick Nurse is just Nick Nurse is me during the game, just complaining about every call. But he's the
Mm,
coach of the
good cop.
team
Good
on the
cop. Gold
sidelines.
chains too, you know?
Yeah, you got the chains out.
Yeah,
You got to get
exactly.
him out here. He's
Yep.
got Nick Nurse has like six more, I think. But like, it's wild. It's wild. I don't know. I lost so much respect for Embiid that I don't even know if I had the respect, but I never realized this, and I guess I missed that. But wow, what a piece of shit! And Knicks are up 3-1 thanks to Jalen Brunson, superstar baby. Nick's record, 47 points in the game four win. He did whatever he wanted. And there was a moment where he left end of the third quarter with a knee, like he was in the locker room. And I was just there was a minute where I was on Twitter and everybody's like, oh, torn Achilles, so torn MCL, knee's gone. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm done with sports. I'm done. The pod's canceled. All of this ran through me. I was like, the pod's canceled. I'm not making any more bets on so bet. I need a month's vacation at least of sports. I'm
You would
done.
have crawled under a rock.
No, I would have been gone. You wouldn't have heard from me. But he was fine. Closed out the win. Knicks go back to the Garden Tuesday night, up 3-1. I'm living life, baby. Go New York, go New York, go.
Go New York. Every time I hear that, I see the Ninja Turtles like Subway Surf. Like, go New York, go New York,
Even better, even better,
pizza, go.
even
Yeah, no,
better.
but at the end of the day, like this was a great game to watch. It was funny. I texted you. I was like,
Mhm.
Knicks money line? And the reason I did, and I'll give you Nick Nurse. I'm not going to give you Joel Embiid as a bitch just yet. He knew in that game on Thursday he was going to get any call, just like the entire Sixers team knew they were going to get any call after the refs swallowed the whistle for the Knicks win previously. And then they overdid it. And guess what? This game swung back into the favor of the Knicks away in Philadelphia. It didn't seem like an away game, but in Philadelphia, usually at home you get all the calls, but I think they overdid it the last game. And then there was a lot talked about on, sports talk radio, on ESPN, whatever, about what the refs did, kind of giving the benefit of the doubt to the Sixers for that entire game, especially when guys out there popping ankles or whatever. So they overdid it there. The Knicks were the smart play here. I took them +5. Pretty pumped. I will admit, and I did text you, it's in writing. Jalen Brunson is a full-fledged superstar, 100%. Away game in the playoffs, Knicks franchise record. Oh my God. He's just fun to watch too. Because he's like short and kind of stocky and like makes me feel like I can go up against guys on the playground that are like Joel Embiid's kind of size proportionately. But it was fun to watch. I loved watching this game. I was thinking of you the whole time. I was thinking of you from Thursday when you had probably one of the worst sports days.
That was a rough one. That was a rough one. Knicks,
Yeah, no,
just all
Knicks
my
bring it
teams.
back home. They can clinch at home where they deserve to clinch, and hopefully they do. I don't think Joel Embiid should be tarnished. His reputation should be tarnished. I really don't. Nick Nurse, you've convinced me. That guy's a loser. That guy's a loser. And
My
Tyrese
God.
Maxey is still pretty fucking awesome. But the Knicks team is
Yes.
fun to watch, and I'm fun to
Yes.
be, like it's exciting to be around New York City when the Knicks are being, when they're playing this well. It's fun. The energy's great. Your energy's great. Happy that you won today. So
It's a
it was
great
fun.
day. It's a great day. Definitely made up for Thursday when I'm sitting there, all of my bets lost. Knicks lost, Yankees lost, Islanders lost. And I'm just
Chris
like,
comes knocking on the door. Hey,
what
what's
do
for
I
dinner?
do? But my boy was here, so it was a fun night regardless. And Knicks were up 2-0. It was, yeah, it's fine. We'll lose a game in Philly. I get it. We're not going to sweep them. All right. But
Right.
pushed through, had a nice weekend. Beautiful, some nice weather. The weather could have been nicer. A lot of rain mixed in, but did get the fire pit going. Got some s'mores going, so it was nice. Nice weekend. But I mean, it was just a Sunday 1 o'clock Eastern game, Knicks playoffs, and I'm just
Yeah, it's
like,
weird.
okay, I guess I'm cracking open a beer at 1 o'clock, and
Let's
then
go.
that's what happens. I mean, you know, I I'm 36. I grew up watching this team, and
Oh,
these moments don't happen. You can see my jersey it's a mellow jersey. It's the old logo. This Knicks hat is even a logo from like 10 years
I
ago.
know. Come on, get with the times,
Yes,
man. Like I just jumped on this
big Knicks
bandwagon.
fan
Come on.
over here. Big Knicks fan over
Huge.
here. Huge
Trust me, I
fan.
can name probably 10 people from their
Wait,
history.
you could do more than that. I think you could do more than that.
Three named Charles
You could probably
Oakley,
name the main rotation of this
Larry
team.
Johnson, John Starks. He owns like a bunch of car dealerships.
Starks is at all these games. Starks was in Philly
I
today.
know they showed him.
Yeah,
They were like, John Starks is
he's like
fired
calling
up.
travels and yelling
I
at
was
the
like, John, I need a
yeah.
Kia.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I just love and at the Garden, like all these Knicks legends were there. You saw they had a big shot.
Was Oakley there?
DiVincenzo's go ahead, and it was just yeah. Well, I think Oakley might still, but I mean, Melo was there. Spree, you had Starks, just all these Knicks kind of legends. Bernard King, who's a Hall of Famer, probably the
I
greatest,
thought he was a
one of the
boxer.
greatest Knicks of all time. But it's oh man, this is a whole different tangent. But like you think like no, there's so much disrespect for the older generation. Like Bernard King should be just a legend in the Garden celebrate, and he is. But it's just the generational gap. Like people, like the majority of people now didn't watch him, so that's it.
It's
And
been so
eventually, and
long since the
eventually,
Knicks
it'll
have
get to
won,
them.
is what you're telling me.
Yes, that's 100% what it is. It's so
You think they
NBA,
close it out next game?
they should, they really should. I think they have to. I don't want to go back into Philly because it's just I mean, why then you're losing Philly, then it's a game 7, and anything can happen in game 7. So just close it out. DiVincenzo hasn't even had a great series. He had a couple big shots though in the second half, but it's been Brunson and hopefully Robinson can come back for Tuesday. Didn't play today, but Precious was great, and OG basically just locked down and beat it in the second half. That's the guy right there. And I said this like if Jalen and OG just stay healthy, like I know we're out Randall. Robinson, it's kind of like you pencil in his injury. You just know any minute like he's going to be hurt. You don't typically expect a 7'2", 300-pound Frenchman to just throw all his body weight on his ankles, but regardless, he's banged up now. But I
They
just,
gotta outlaw the hip drop tackle in the NBA too, apparently.
yeah, same thing, same thing. Embiid would be not happy with that rule change.
I would
But
love to see the Knicks just fire away in the Garden next game. Just let fucking loose. Just DiVincenzo, 23s.
yeah,
Jalen
I'll
Brunson,
do it.
45 points.
Yeah,
Josh Hart, yeah, 10 three attempts. Just everybody just fire away.
Josh
Just
Hart,
fucking do
man,
it and
Josh
just
Hart.
bury him. Golden State Warriors style. I feel like you have the crowd at your back, the wind at your
Hmm.
sails, and they should close this out. But I could just a sneaky part of me just sees 7 games, and I'm just like, I'm praying for your cardiologist,
Yeah,
for your family, for everybody,
that was
associated with
rough.
you that it doesn't happen. But I'm really hoping they just start firing away, have one of those just bury them games.
I hope so. I need it because yeah, I was just the steps. Like if I was holding my phone, you would have the whole time. I would have broken a record for steps,
You've been
and I
closing
didn't
rings
lose. I
left and
didn't.
right.
Yeah, I didn't leave my house, but it was just paces in a circle.
Yeah.
Just excited paces after a big shot, angry paces after a big miss. It was a
Watching
problem.
games with you is very more times than not, it's really stressful.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Sometimes
It's
it's really
just it's
enjoyable.
me. Yeah, if you're gonna laugh, you can laugh at me, and you're not like
I'm
totally
not
invested in the
laughing.
game.
I'm not
But
laughing. I
I
feel the
mean,
same way about my teams. So I
yeah,
hear
it is. Yeah, we're sports fans. It's this is it. This is what we live for. It's the playoffs, and the NBA playoffs. Like it's not just Knicks. It's not just Sixers. There's some other really fun series going on, and I know we got a lot of other stuff to talk about. But I do want to kind of do a quick hitter on all the NBA playoff series. The one I watched, the other one that came on right after the next game, Sunday, was Clips-Mavs, and that series is now 2-2. And that's just like a weird, it's like a fun series because you just have studs on the court. I mean, Harden, George, Kawhi, if he plays, he didn't play this weekend, but he's still around. You got like a shell of Russell Westbrook looming, but he shows up every now and then. Now on the
you.
Mavs,
Just prop him up like it's weekend at Bernie's. Here's Russell
yeah,
Westbrook.
he's coming in, and then you got Luca and Kyrie and the Mavs, and a lot of some other young talent too. It's a fun series. It's 2-2 now. Each team took one at home, one away, and I just it's fun. It's a fun series to watch. It's pretty evenly matched. I think the Mavs are the better team, but if the Clips get George and Harden going, they're very tough to stop. So
So real quick, who wins that series?
I say Mavs. I say Mavs, but I wouldn't be shocked either way. I'm gonna enjoy watching. What
I'm
do you
gonna lean
think?
Mavs too on that one.
Yeah, yeah. Bucks Pacers. I don't really know what's going on with this series.
I have no idea either.
All of a sudden, it's just. I mean, they're playing as we speak. Sunday night, we're recording this. It's 67-64 Pacers at half, but there's no Giannis and no Lillard. How how are you guys not playing? It's it's game 4 of the play. Like, what's going on? Are they really hurt? Like, it's wild. But the fact that the Bucks are in it right now. The Pacers are just a young team that doesn't play great defense. They could score the basketball, and if they get hot, it's crazy. But 67-64 at the half. I mean, that should tell you all you need to know about the series. But on the Bucks
Lillard
side,
Achilles strain and Antetokounmpo a calf, and you're down 2-1. And I get the Achilles, but the calf.
just get out there, man. I don't know. We like this isn't the regular season anymore. You lose a couple games, it's over. I don't know, wild. But I mean, Chris Middleton is playing really well right now. So, and he's kind of like that last piece of that team. And then you got Beasley, Brooke Lopez, Pat Bev, Bobby Portis can go off. But
I love Bobby
I
Portis.
mean, the whole Gallinari's getting some run for the Bucks too, which I
Oh,
love. But
oh
yeah,
God.
it's
So
it's
who do you
weird.
lean in this one?
It all depends on the injuries. If Lillard and Giannis are done, the series is over. The Pacers will win. But if one or the other is playing, it'll be I think 6-7 games. But I could see either team win. If Giannis and Lillard are both back and healthy, and I think they take the Pacers out, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen.
I think if
Yeah,
the Pacers get to 3-1 tonight with both of them out, they've got too much opportunity to close them out going forward.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but if the Bucks win tonight without those two, I think it's easily the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
right now, I'm going to say Pacers though.
Yeah,
We'll see.
yeah, that's fair. T Wolves are up 3-0 on the Suns. Is this the worst super team ever assembled?
Yes, yes, it is. Maddie Ishibia, the new owner of the
Ishbia,
Suns,
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
just paid Grayson Allen. I don't really know what's happening with the Suns. I I think they're missing a veteran presence and a leader, maybe named Chris Paul,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
at the same time, like I don't really get it. I don't
But
really get it.
that tells you a lot about KD and where he's at right now.
Yeah,
That,
he's a supplemental
my
player.
God.
He's a role player on championship teams.
It's yeah. It's tough because he's still like he can score with anybody and he's
For
still
sure.
technically in his prime, maybe a little past, but
Yeah, he's one of the
uh
greatest players of all time. He's a top 15 player of all time, but he's just not going to carry your team by himself. He's not. He's
no,
got to play that
it's
wing.
he has that stigma will always stick with him, and it's unfortunate to an extent because he is
It
great,
happens to some
but
players. It's
yeah,
mellow. It's the same
yeah.
thing with
And
him.
Melo never won. At least KD had the
Yeah, but Melo didn't have the
guts to
opportunity to
go.
say, "Hey, I'm going to go link up with three other superstars and
Mhm.
form a super team." That was a little bit before his time.
Yes, it was. It was. Well, it was during his time, but the Knicks just couldn't get that super team because Mari Stoudemire came in and just left and took all the money. But anyway, I a lot of Knicks fans will piss off with that because a lot of Knicks fans
Amari was
love
elite. Come
Amari.
on, it was
He
James
was when he
Dolan's
was healthy,
fault.
but that was it. He
It
was
was
healthy.
James
He
Dolan's
was
fault.
healthy
No
for a
matter
half a
what.
season. He was healthy for a half a season. Anyway, so Celtics Heat. Heat take one game in Boston, but
It's
both
interesting.
both Celtics wins have been big. They're up 2-1. I mean, they won by 20 in Miami. It's just this is a series if Jimmy and Rozier are playing, but if Jimmy's not coming back, if Jimmy ain't walking through that door, it's eventually just gonna be too much. It's gonna be over. And it might be sooner than later, but
Yeah, I mean, it took them moving mountains and shooting performance for them to be, at least within this series. The other two games are just Boston dominant. Like that's what I expect
yeah.
going forward. It's just crazy when Miami goes in and wins these games on the road, and if they're not really being relevant. But it took a ridiculous shooting performance to get that done. So I think Boston wins this easily.
They kind of have to. They kind of have to. And I think they will, unless Jimmy all of a sudden is walking through that door. But OKC Pels, this one's over. Without Zion, the Pels are just done.
Garbage.
I mean, Brandon Ingram is good, and they
I
have
feel
a
bad for
couple
him.
other good players, but OKC is too deep. You're not going to beat them without being 100%.
What a pro wants, what a pro needs. That Chet
Oh,
Holmgren,
yeah, we've
Jalen
all
Wings.
seen it. It's been played over and over
Yeah,
again.
I think I really faded OKC in our playoff preview, and I'm a big fan of
In our
OKC.
season
I,
preview,
I, I
yeah,
love Chet Holmgren, dude.
they're great.
Yeah,
It's a great young team. I don't know if they go all the way this year, but they did it the right way. They're set up for a while.
yeah,
This team just keep them together, and that's the team that's going to be a problem for a long time. So good for them.
yep.
Um, Cavs Magic, that series just sucks. Both of those teams suck.
Really, I think this one's kind of fun.
It's fine. I'll enjoy it if the Magic make it a bit more of a series. Um, I just look. This might be my Knicks bias and Knicks beating the Cavs last year. The whole Mitchell thing. I just don't think the Cavs are the Cavs are so beatable. Um, the Magic just don't have a lot of scoring. They did get some supplemental scoring. Jalen Suggs came out and they got a win, but I don't know if they can do it in Cleveland. I give Cleveland the edge here, and I think they win it. But the series is tied 2-2, and
Cleveland can't eclipse 100. It's going to Donovan Mitchell needs to show up in the playoffs here. He needs to show up in the freaking playoffs. The Magic have what, like 3 guards from Gonzaga or some shit like that. No, they have some depth. Maybe not elite depth, but they have more depth than I think the Cavaliers do. And unless Donovan Mitchell is going to show up and like have a good performance for the next couple games, they haven't scored 100 points in the playoffs yet. They're beatable. They're very, very, very beatable.
That's what I
Home
mean.
or away.
It's two beatable teams that eventually get beaten by the Celtics. Celtics, I feel like, have a pass to the conference finals. I hope the Heat can do it. But you were the number 1 seed in the East, and you got first round, you got the Heat without playoff Jimmy, and Rozier is a nice supplemental player who they got. And then second round, you got Magic Cavs. It's just you're gonna beat them. I'll pencil it. I'll pencil the Celtics into the conference finals, and I hope that we're there. But at this point,
I
that's
wish I
just
had
how
Magic Cavs.
I do. You see my Cavs, phenomenal,
I
phenomenal
mean, you got
Cavs.
a lot of lawn to mow.
Yeah. Oh, my steps the other day. You should have saw my steps on Thursday. I just like in the tens of thousands of steps. Crushed it. Crushed it.
Oh my god.
Nuggets, Lakers. Lakers won a game, but this one's over.
Oh my god. They look so old and sucky. And D'Angelo Russell, you're done. You're toast. This is the second time you're gonna be run from town, isn't it?
Yeah,
This is the first time when
correct.
he was like sleeping with Mark Jackson's.
I
Yeah.
don't know what happened there, but yeah,
But
he's
on the phone on your bench, on the bench, like in the middle of a game, like yeah, not good. I love D'Lo, go Buckeyes, but woof, this team is crashing and burning right now.
yeah, it's over. LeBron is still unbelievable at his age. Uh, this explosiveness is still there. It's kind of crazy, but it's not there for the entire game anymore. And he's got Davis, but he doesn't have the guard play that he needs, I think. And it's just, yeah, Russell, like, they'll win a game. Russell will shoot, he'll hit 8 threes, and that'll be his game. But he did that, I think, game 2, and they lost. So it's over. So you're probably going to have,
And they are going to fall right in the perfect position to take Bronny James in the draft, unless somebody decides to before them.
oh, so that's just gonna keep the Lakers down for a while. That's the unfortunate scenario for
Yep.
if you're a Lakers fan. But hey, you'll put on a show. You're in LA, have some fun. But what I'm thinking right now, as it stands Sunday night, uh, it's gonna be Thunder Mavs, T-Wolves Nuggets in the West for the conference semis, and then it's gonna be Celtics, Cavs, and then Knicks Pacers. I think that's how it's going to play out.
Lock it in.
Yeah, lock it in. We'll see. It's fun. It's the playoffs, and I could go on a rant right now about the officiating and and not just the officiating, but the complaining about the officiating and
Please, I had
just
over 1.5 rants. Let's go.
yeah, yeah. No, good. No, let's move on. Should have put money on that before.
By
But
the way, OG Anunoby over 4.5 rebounds. What do you have, like 16,
there's a beast. Him and Josh Hart on the
14?
boards. With Hartenstein got in foul trouble. Robinson didn't play. Achua had a great game coming off. He hadn't been playing the whole series. But yeah, it's Hart and OG grabbing boards, and they're not the tallest guys
Let's
in the
go
world.
Knicks.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Oh, fun times there. Hockey. We're not gonna go series by series there. We're just not, that deep in it. We'll catch up when it gets later. But my Isles won a game on Saturday to stay alive. They could very well be 2-2 in the series, but it's just is what it is. I think the Rangers are playing as we speak. They're up 1-0. I think they're going to sweep the Caps. So as far as New York goes, that's that. But we'll dive into the NHL playoffs, I think, as it gets a little deeper. I don't think we need to
Agreed.
go first round there. It's just, as far as the sports go, that's where it lands for us. It's baseball, football, basketball, hockey. Um, I think it's time to do a deep dive into the 2024 NFL draft.
Yeah.
And shit,
Now you're speaking my language.
I'm gonna easily hit this rant over. It's gonna happen, but we'll keep it for an appropriate time. But NFL draft this weekend, kind of this weekend, but more so it happened on Thursday, and then the rest of it played out. Crazy, crazy draft.
Oh,
The
you're setting up something here.
the draft is always fun. Um, I would just a quick little recap of the first round. I want to go pick by pick to start. We don't have to go pick by pick and analyze, but I do want to just go through it and there was no surprises at the top. Caleb Williams to the Bears. He's ready. He's ready to go. Bears. Jaden Daniels to the Commanders at 2. You pumped about it, right? You're all pumped about it. You ready? Super Bowl's on.
I think so. I think so. I'm a little nervous. He's got the most experience other than Bo Nix out of anybody in the draft. I think I'm a fan. The comps to RG3 have been killing me. But then I've seen comps to Lamar Jackson. I'm like, yeah, let's go. So
those are better comps.
at the same time, I think he's really, really talented. He had neighbors at LSU, so that helps. I just hope he's not a stat sheet stuffer. One of those players that, over the course of their college careers compiled a lot of stats. So they make it this last minute run in the draft where everybody gets so excited about them. Meanwhile, you've heard about Caleb Williams and Drake May for 3 years. I'm excited about Jaden Daniels. I'm excited about the Commanders draft. I think they knocked it out of the park with this. It's the best draft I've seen them have in quite some time. But yeah, we'll see. Jaden Daniels, let's go.
There it is, number excited. 2. Drake May 3 to the Patriots. I'm fine with that. It's the Patriots have Brady and Belichick now. I'm kind of sitting like,
yeah. If Belichick was there, I'd say this is a home run. I don't know how Jerome Mayo coaches a quarterback.
Yeah, there's nothing. It's over now. It's over.
He's the right prospect for Bill Belichick.
Yeah, but it's over now. So
if that's the same, yeah, we'll see.
Credit to them if they keep it going.
Right.
Credit to them, but it's been a couple years now where they've been shit since
no Bill O'Brien, no Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
The Bills are gone. Mayo's a defensive guy.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. If I was Drake May, I would be a little bit upset that I couldn't have been drafted 2 years ago.
Yeah. Is what it is. Number 4 to the Cardinals, Marvin Harrison Jr. This was kind of the no-brainer pick. Your Buckeye.
Best player in the draft.
That's a weapon for the Cardinals. It's going to be fun to watch for a while. Joe Alt to the Chargers. Get some protection for Justin Herbert. I think it's a good pick.
They're going to run a power offense with Harbaugh. Yeah. So it's a great pick.
It's a phenomenal pick. It's a Harbaugh pick. It makes sense.
Yeah. Chargers were BB plus in this draft. They did a really good job.
Yeah. Giants take Malik Neighbors at 6, which was a slight surprise. Some people thought they might go QB with McCarthy, but maybe a little high at 6. They didn't trade back. Titans take another tackle. So it was Alt and then JC Latham. And then number 8, the Falcons with Penix Jr. I think we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but that happened. Then the Bears, Rome Odunze falls to the Bears. And the Bears got to be you got to be thrilled.
You got to be thrilled.
Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze, that's hopefully your tandem for a decade plus. So I'm happy for Bears fans. That's an organization that deserves better than they've had. So I hope that works out. I mean,
I
they.
like the Dunze over Neighbors. I like Penix over McCarthy though.
Mm,
So
mm,
and I kind of like Penix over Jaden Daniels. So it depends on kind of what you're looking at, who you're evaluating. Nobody's a loser when they're drafting wide receivers at this level. But yeah, if you're the Bears, you got to be pumped because you had what, maybe five picks going into this. You get your franchise quarterback
mhm.
and you get arguably the best wide receiver in the draft. I would say Neighbors, Odunze, and Harrison are all, I'm biased with Harrison, but they're all just gifts for quarterbacks. So
Yeah.
I think the Bears crushed it.
Yeah, I think so. And then McCarthy goes at 10 in a trade with the Jets, trading just up a little bit. The Jets trade back one spot.
Yeah, what a
And this
lucky
was
fuck this kid is. Sorry.
JJ McCarthy to the Vikings. He's got
Walks into
the
Hawkinson and Jefferson.
yeah, he's got weapons right there. We'll see if he can do it. If they clearly think he can, trading up to get him at 10. I know your feelings on the Michigan man, but
He's a good
uh,
quarterback, but at the
yeah,
end of the day, there's not enough tape on him. There's not enough situations that translate. Again, they played power football at Michigan, pro style quarterback. Is it a pro style offense that they're running in Minnesota? You know, they're going to ask him to throw more than he's thrown at Michigan, and we'll see what happens.
yeah. After that, then the Jets picked. They traded back one spot and got the guy that they probably were going to take either way there. Olufishanu, the offensive tackle of Penn State. Great pick for the Jets. With the Dunze and Neighbors and Harrison all gone and then trade up. It was just the right pick. You could argue Bowers maybe, but I think you can't have enough offensive line depth. I keep you got to just hoard all these guys and hope whoever stays healthy can perform. And that you have maybe 1 or 2 more years max of Aaron Rodgers. Just shore up that line, get some big
Yeah,
boys in front of him, and
this
don't let him tear
you
his
had to make
Achilles
this
again.
pick.
Yes,
You had to
yes,
make this pick. This is a great pick. Bowers would have been a mistake. Jets misuse
agreed.
tight ends. Bowers is not your traditional tight end. He's not the elite blocker. He's a good blocker, not the elite blocker. He's the elite pass catcher that
Mm-hmm.
takes targets away from Garrett Wilson and
He's from
the other
the
Mike Williams.
Chargers.
Yeah, exactly.
If
And
he could stay healthy, he'll be great. He'll be fine.
you needed the offensive line pick. You needed the faith in the quarterback here. You needed yeah, I think Becton's gone now, so you needed somebody here on the line to plug and play. It was
Yes,
a good pick.
yes. After that, then another quarterback, Bo Nix. So 6 out of the top 12 picks, quarterbacks, and it's Bo Nix out of Oregon
Bo Nix is the fucking
to the
man.
Broncos.
Sean Payton got his guy.
The Broncos needed a quarterback. You went into the draft and you're like, you're not in the top 10, and you don't have any quarterbacks. So what's the plan? And the plan is Bo Nix.
This was the
So
plan. Yeah. I think it's a
we'll see.
great fit. I think Bo Nix has all the talent in the world. I think he's an efficient passer. He can scramble, he can run. He's on a team that needs a quarterback like him right now. And Sean Payton thinks he can do, whatever he wants with a certain type of guy. And he's feeling pretty good about it right now. We'll see if it works. But I do think Bo Nix is that high character, high motor type of guy that you need, especially when you're looking for value at quarterback outside of the top 10.
Yeah, yeah. So 6 of 12 quarterback, wild. But keep going with the first round. Then it's the man we just mentioned, tight end out of Georgia, Brock Bowers to the Raiders. Nice fit there, I think.
Aiden O'Connell's probably pumped, no quarterback, and I get a nice pass catcher.
Yeah, we'll see what he can do there. They have their coach that they love, Antonio Pierce. They should be a fun team. Maybe they can make some waves. It's the Saints, another tackle, Talise Fuaga. It was a tackle heavy draft with Alt Latham, Fishanu, and Fuaga. Those were the top four guys. And another one went a couple picks later, but those were kind of like the top four, like, oh, these guys are the guys. I was glad that the Jets got Fishanu. I was mentioning Fuaga too. You know, it was what it was. I think we're happy. But Fuaga goes to the Saints at 14. Uh Latu Latu. Yeah, that's the Colts edge rusher out of UCLA. Latu. I don't know. I don't know what you're doing with the Colts
No,
there.
he's an elite pass rusher.
Yeah, so
He's a
great.
great pass rusher. This was a need. They filled the need, and yeah, no, Fatu. Sorry, Latu. I think fell further than some folks thought.
Fashanu Fuaga Latu.
A lot of Hawaiian,
Within five,
Samoan, New
yeah, within
Zealand.
5 picks. So
Yeah,
yeah. Seahawks go D tackle Byron Murphy out of Texas.
elite,
Vikings, Dallas Turner, edge rusher out of Bama.
elite.
They trade up with Jacksonville to get this pick. Another tackle to the Bengals, Amarius Mims. If you're the Bengals, yeah, sure. You gotta protect you gotta protect your boy there. He's getting hurt every year. The Rams, edge rusher Jared Verse, Steelers, another one, Troy Tanu, another tackle out of Washington. Look, it's the best, cheapest way right now to shore up your offensive line. The Jets they signed some free agents and they still drafted a tackle. It's just you got to protect your quarterback. And
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the most lucrative positions. You get 4 years on a rookie deal with one of these guys in the first round. It's the right thing to do. And then they're more likely to get a second contract out of a lineman than you are a skill position player as well. I think that's what the Jets looked at with a guy from Penn State who's really local. He's from, the area or whatever. It's gonna
yeah.
be somebody you can re-sign as opposed to the Oregon State guy. So.
Finishing out the first round, Chop Robinson, edge rusher for the Dolphins at number 21. Kenyon Mitchell at Toledo, the defensive back for the Eagles. Eagles always draft well. Nice pick there. Jaguars, Brian Thomas Jr., the wide receiver at LSU. I think I think the Jaguars need a wide receiver, so there you go. Lions, Terrion Arnold, the defensive back. Alabama, Packers, Jordan Morgan. We go back to offensive line because apparently the Packers are all set. We just need to shore up the line now. So Jordan Morgan, Arizona. Bucks center Graham Barton out of Duke, a Dookie in the first round. Cardinals, Darius Robinson, defensive end from Missouri. And then another intriguing part, the Bills trade back with the Chiefs, and the Chiefs get the fastest man in the draft, Xavier Worthy, the wide receiver out of Texas. It was just one of those like, you've struggled to beat this team. Why are you trading with them so they can get another offensive weapon?
Right, and they did. Xavier Worthy, I'm a big fan of. Doesn't have the measurables, but has the speed. I think he'll be fun in Kansas City. Tyreek Hill 2.0.
See.
He's not that far. Close.
Cowboys, they had a hole at offensive tackle and they drafted Tyler Guyton at
I hated the
Oklahoma.
whole Cowboys draft, but that's probably because I hate the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's most likely the thing there. Ravens cornerback Nate Wiggins, Clemson. The Niners, Ricky Pearsall.
Ricky
Why?
Pearsall.
Why would
There's
you like him
several
so
people in the
much?
history of college football that I have loved looking up, watching, and being a fan of their highlights. Ricky Pearsall is one of them. He's up there with Peter Warrick for me. Guys that their tape jumps out. Big fan of Ricky Pearsall. Really, really big fan of this pick, especially if Ayuk is gone. I think Ricky Pearsall has an immediate impact.
I'm sure he'll
And
fit in nicely there.
he's just fun to watch.
Yeah. And then to end the first round, Carolina Panthers select Xavier Leggett
Look at
out of Leggett. Either way. Xavier is a wide receiver for the Panthers if they needed. It's pretty sad that was where the Panthers picked after the season they had. That's rough. That's rough.
Yeah.
But they needed some offensive weapons.
They traded into the
They made
first
it.
round. That's
They
how
made
sad
it.
it is.
They
Yeah.
made it a trade. They made a trade, and good for them to do that because they needed some help. They might be in deep trouble. But that was the first round of the NFL draft. Now, I know that, you're our resident draft expert because you are the college football expert. I'll keep calling you an expert. No. No. but I'll call you the expert.
Wow.
No, you are our expert. You're the man when it comes to college. You're watching every weekend. It's impressive. It really is. But I
Wow.
want to hear your best picks.
Wow.
I want to hear your best picks of the NFL draft. Give me,
Wow.
give me two or three of your favorite picks of this draft.
Fine. First off, teams that crushed, teams that generally do crush. Packers, Eagles, and outside of that, the Cardinals, the Bears, and I think the Commanders also had some of the best drafts. But
Give me some. Let's do the Chris Carey draft grades right here for your top teams.
sure. So number one is going to be the Bears. I mean, you got Caleb Williams and Rome Odunze. You have one guy to throw it to the other guy. You have the best talent in the draft. Didn't trade back, didn't get scared. Caleb Williams, I'm probably going to draft him in fantasy earlier than I should, just because I want to see what happens, and he's exciting. So, outside of that, the Eagles crushed it. They got Cooper DeJean from Iowa, who fell to them. They ended up with what's his face in the sixth round, Johnny Mitchell, I believe it is, a 6'7" wide receiver. They ended up with who Micah Parsons said was one of the best players in the draft. Kind of getting some draft envy on one of his podcasts or whatever, which was Quinyon Mitchell. The Eagles and the Packers, I think, had two of the best drafts. Outside of that, I think the Cardinals did. Marvin Harrison didn't work out for any teams. He's kind of a weirdo, but again, you could throw him the ball anywhere. He was the only wide receiver drafted that didn't have an elite quarterback drafted who had been throwing to him, which was Kyle McCord. So I think Marvin Harrison was a great pick there, but they also got Trey Benson, who was a good running back. They made some other nice picks. So the Cardinals, I'm a big fan of their draft. I said Bears, Packers, Eagles, and then the Commanders. Commanders actually did a really, really good job of filling needs. So pretty pumped about that. We'll see what happens with Jaden Daniels. It could be a boom or bust. Who knows? But at the same time, you kind of filled every other need that you needed in this draft. So we'll see what happens. As far as players that I like, that got drafted into good situations that I think could be relevant pretty quickly, there's a few. First and foremost is going to be Blake Corum on the Rams. Blake Corum was probably the best running back in college football out of Michigan. I think if he ends up in a good, some things happen favorable for him, he could end up with some carries this year and make an impact. I really like the Ravens. Tez Walker fell to them in the fourth round. He was Drake May's best friend, essentially, at UNC. And before that, I believe he played in the MAC. And he was pretty substantial in terms of being a pass catcher. I think he'll be great with Lamar Jackson. Ricky Pearsall, I mentioned. Ricky Pearsall, I think, is playmaking ability and plugs right into the 49ers offense. And then another one that I really, really liked outside of Marvin Harrison, because I really do like the plug and play there, was Jonathan Brooks, who ended up going to Carolina. He was the Texas running back. I think he's solid. I think Carolina needed a running back behind Bryce Young and one that can catch passes. So Jonathan Brooks is another guy who I think could have a pretty quick impact out of this draft. Those are all offensive guys. There's plenty of defensive guys and linemen that could have great impacts. I think the Chargers had a great draft getting Joe Alt. They're going to play power football with Justin Herbert under center. That was a phenomenal pick. Chop Robinson was a great pick. And I think Miami had a decent draft as well. So yeah, there was a lot to like about what happened here. And I think a lot of teams filled needs that they had. There were some teams I was like, what the hell are you kind of doing? And that was more along the lines of the Cowboys, the Lions. I didn't really love what they did. The Browns, I think, had a decent draft. The Steelers, I don't really love what they did. So there's a few teams that were like hit or miss, but I think overall, the way that this draft went was really, really surprising with how many quarterbacks went in the first round. And then you had to wait for Spencer Rattler to New Orleans for picks, for a ton of picks. There was more offense than there was defense. And I heard looking forward to the next draft next year, there's more defense than offense. So this is really interesting to see how GMs are going to build their teams. I did like Cade Stover reuniting with my boy CJ Stroud for the Texans. Those two had really good kind of Mahomes-Kelsey vibes when it came to the Ohio State offense and finding each other in chaos when the play breaks down and whatnot. So I think that was a good pick as well. But overall, there were a few clear-cut winners. Number one was the Bears. Number two was the Eagles. And in my opinion, it was either Packers, Cardinals, or Commanders for the third best draft.
Right.
But I loved it. I love the draft. This is like marrying college football, which none of my friends watch with me, to pro football that all of my friends watch with me. So I've always been a draft fan growing up. And, I think this was a great weekend, and there's a lot of studs that came out this year too. This is going to be quite possibly one of the best quarterback drafts in recent history.
With that, let's jump in to a little LFG or NahB.
Let's go.
Now I got 4 statements that I want to get your opinion on, and I'll share mine on as well. LFG, NahB. Number 1, the Atlanta Falcons drafting Michael Penix Jr. was the worst pick of the draft. LFG or NahB?
Oh, NahB, 100%. 100%. And this was a serious outcry. A lot of people like, what the hell are they doing? They give Kirk Cousins $100 million in 4 years, whatever. They can get out of that Cousins contract in 2 years. And they drafted their quarterback of the future, who I think, get rid of McCarthy, get rid of Nix, get rid of Jaden Daniels, get rid of Drake May. I really, really, really believe Michael Penix is the best thrower of the football behind Caleb Williams in this draft. They're never going to, if all goes according to plan, draft in the top 10 again. And one thing I haven't heard from people who are really upset about this, or talking about it one way, or I've really only heard Dan Orlovsky be the guy that says like, "Oh, this is a good move." Him and of course Raheem Morris, the coach who made it. But look at what happened with Aaron Rodgers last year. You sign an old quarterback, Achilles, whatever. You're signing Kirk Cousins coming off an Achilles. He's 35, 36, whatever it is. And you have a quarterback waiting in the wings who you believe in, as opposed to a Zach Wilson. I think this was a great move. I think they only had, 5 picks in this draft. They didn't get the receiver that they wanted. The only guy that was left was Odunze. That was the only thing, Odunze or Bowers, Brock Bowers, the tight end, who I could say, you probably shouldn't have done this. I think Penix, as a leader, to sit in the room with Kirk Cousins, those guys are going to click. As strange as that sounds, with how different they looked on draft day, as Penix, how he was dressed with his white sunglasses and whatever. But I think he's a leader, and at the end of the day, he's got Kirk Cousins vibes when it comes to how he coaches and approaches his team. So I think this was a phenomenal move.
Phenomenal. So look,
I won't say phenomenal, I'm not gonna, but I'll say that. Look,
not the worst.
Everybody wanted the Jets to have a backup plan, right?
Yeah. Yes.
The Falcons have a backup plan, right?
I get that. Yeah.
And they've got a good defense. They got rid of Arthur Smith, who you love, and they have Bijan Robinson along with Drake London. So I think this was a great move. I really do. And you're not going to pick again in this situation, and you're not going to have the opportunity for quarterbacks like there were in this draft.
Now, could you have traded back a little bit, gotten some more capital, and taken Penix? Maybe.
How cute you want to get with it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. And then also the other problem is you're taking a quarterback with a top 10 pick of the draft after you just signed Kirk Cousins to this big deal. And immediately after, Kirk Cousins' agent comes out with a statement of, "We're shocked and stunned." Like,
well, that's his agent.
So but the problem is you're already starting an issue for your team right now. You gotta understand that at least.
Kirk Cousins has never been one who has really had an issue with anything.
I don't think he'll be.
The man was drafted the same draft as RG3. He was the backup plan.
Yeah.
He was Michael Penix. So at the same time, I don't think you have any worries about character. You have any worries about how the leadership of the team goes. I really don't. And you can get out of this contract in 2 years and give this guy 100 million guaranteed, but still have 5 years of control against Michael Penix. Like it made sense because, I don't love Raheem Morris as a head coach. I really just don't. But at the same time, I want Michael Penix to be a cornerstone of a franchise. I think he has those intangibles, and unfortunately, he just had the injury history. Otherwise, we're talking about him as the second overall pick to the Commanders instead. So I think it was a good pick, and I think just it's kind of funny. Nobody really cares about what happened to Aaron Rodgers last year with the Achilles, and you got an old quarterback. You need an insurance policy, otherwise you're going to get run out of town like Salah almost was.
Yeah, I don't think drafting a quarterback like Penix is ever a terrible move. And I will say NahB on it being the worst pick of the draft. I'm sure there will be another worst pick of the draft. But it was still regardless shocking, surprising. It makes you wonder if they could have done a little bit more to trade back, get some capital, and still end up with him. But there is what it is. That's the move they made. So
I think it was really the Broncos breathing down their necks. They need a quarterback. The Raiders needed a quarterback. They forewent, if that's a thing. They didn't draft a quarterback in the first round, the Raiders. So you had two teams right behind you who really wanted a quarterback. Was he going to be there if you traded back to another team outside of them? Or were you going to get actual good value, from a trade
that's
with
the
either of those
wonder
teams?
because the Vikings traded up to get McCarthy at 10. Was McCarthy their guy? Would they have
Yeah.
picked him over? Yeah. So if they didn't take Penix, the Bears aren't taking Penix. The Vikings may not trade up. The Jets are not taking a quarterback that high. And then you look at the Broncos. Do they take Bo Nix or Penix? I don't know. But it makes you wonder why after signing Cousins to that deal do you spend that draft capital on a quarterback rather than an offensive weapon, a
It's the
lineman.
most important position in professional
It's
sports.
fair. You'll always have that argument, and that's why it won't be the worst pick of the draft. I'm with you. All right.
Right. And the Brock Purdy model of it is you draft a young guy, you can put guys around him before you have to pay him that second contract. So we'll see how far Kirk Cousins goes on recovering Achilles. People aren't as explosive, and Kirk Cousins seems to not be the guy that wins in the playoffs. So, how long is he actually going to be there? I think they're hoping for playoff dreams this year, but I don't know that they'll, really, if they don't hit the Super Bowl in the next 2 years, that they're going to be like, yeah, Kirk Cousins is our guy for the next,
Fair.
3 or 4 years after that.
Very fair. Very fair. So speaking of the quarterbacks, you had 6 of the top 12 quarterbacks and some impressive quarterbacks after that. LFG or NahB, the 2024 NFL draft was the greatest quarterback draft. Will go down as the greatest quarterback draft of all time. Chris Carey.
I'm gonna say LFG on this. I think, historically we've never seen this many quarterbacks drafted in the first round. There's a reason for that. I think there were a bunch of guys that went back to school last year that probably didn't necessarily need to and could have been drafted anyway, but improved their stock, a la Bo Nix, Penix, those types of guys. I really think even a guy all the way down to Spencer Rattler, who was a number one high school recruit. He was on, the Netflix show QB1, and he just unfortunately fell victim to, us stacking quarterbacks and how the recruiting process works right now with Lincoln Riley. He was the Oklahoma quarterback and Caleb Williams replaced him at Oklahoma. And this guy didn't really get a fair shake at it before he ended up at South Carolina, which is not necessarily an elite program that's going to push for a national championship, but he did really freaking well there. So I think overall, even when you get down to the nitty gritty, when it comes to Spencer Rattler, Bo Nix, Michael Penix, I think there are guys in this draft that could really, really be elite and may not have been the first overall pick like Caleb Williams or Jaden Daniels.
Jordan Travis, Jets.
Jordan
Is he the
Travis,
guy?
dude, he was so exciting to watch 2 years ago when he made when they made their bowl game, made the playoff or whatever. He was exciting. I was pumped to see him come back to Florida State, and he had one of those hip drop tackle injuries, and
It's bad now,
I
so we're
mean,
good.
dude, the guy's got all the talent in the world. He's got the moxie to end all moxie. Like the Jets should be pumped just to have a guy like that in their quarterback room with Aaron Rodgers.
Fifth
So yeah,
round pick to
Jordan
take a
Travis
quarterback
too,
like
for
that.
sure.
Yeah.
I even undrafted guys that are going to come out like a Keaton Slovis who transferred like 72 times in college. There's a lot of good quarterbacks who could end up being career backups, but this was just loaded, absolutely loaded. And I can't wait to see what Caleb Williams does. I can't wait to see what Jaden Daniels does. Can't wait to see what Drake May does. And you could, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
Penix, Knicks, whatever. I think this is probably the deepest draft I've ever seen in quarterbacks in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it has a chance to be, and I like you going for it on that. I'm gonna go NahB because I think back to the Manning Roethlisberger class with Rivers. Like
Rivers,
to me, that was the class.
right?
You to be that, you have to have three uh probably Hall of Fame quarterbacks
Yeah,
out of this group. So that's tough. That's a bar. That's a bar. So is that going to happen? I'm going to say no, but it could. Would I be shocked or upset? No, no. That'd be awesome. It'd be cool to see teams like the Bears have their Hall of Fame, quarterback of the future. It'd be cool to see a team like the Commanders have their guy. Like it's been a long time, so I would like that. And I always, I love the Commanders. It's
hey, you
the Jets of the NFC.
you made
It's
a season-long pick on him this year, so
yeah, it didn't work out. Didn't work out, but that'll be fun to watch. I say no, but that's a conservative. Just I don't
let's
think it's
revisit this 20 years down the line.
sounds good. We'll do. Last one, and this might be where it gets a little hot takey,
Uh-oh.
but
Uh-oh.
the NFL draft is ruined by the new format of first round on Thursday, second round Friday, and the rest of the draft on the weekend, where it's new, it's different. We grew up, we watched it. It was on the weekend, Saturday afternoon, boom, put the draft on. You got round one, round two, round three. These are the big guns, and then Sunday, just fill it out. It's different. Do you like it or is it no?
It sounds like you have an opinion. You want to go first?
I say NahB easily. I say LFG. The NFL draft is ruined by this new format, and it's just I remember growing up. It's a Saturday. You're pumped for the draft. It's go time, like afternoon. Do 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 do. First pick. Let's go. Do some day drinking. Or I'm in college. That was it. Like I specifically have a core memory of a Saturday sophomore year where it was the first nice day of the year. Cracked open the windows. We had two TVs. One was the NFL draft. The other was the Masters, and it was a week. It was just that was like life peaked there. That was it. And I'm
Oh
pretty
yeah.
sure that was the year the Jets drafted Dustin Keller. Uh, I could be wrong there, but that was for whatever reason.
Ooh.
Like I have the tight end Dustin Keller, who was
Yeah.
good until he
Good thing they didn't draft another tight
tore
end
his
this
knee.
year.
Yeah, no. But I that to me is the draft. You get pumped for it Saturday. You set the weekend like watch and you watch round one, round two, round three, boom, boom, boom. Best guys getting taken. Now it's hey, this is the first round. It's Thursday night. These are the guys. And then Friday comes, you're like, oh, okay. Second round, third round, all right. And then it's Saturday and nobody gives a shit. The draft's over. Like you're gonna if you're a big fan of a team, like are you gonna sit and watch that all Saturday? You really have nothing, especially with NHL, NBA playoffs going on, baseball season going on. Like,
That's a valid point.
it's just it's not. you need to get hyped for this in the weekend. It's done by Friday, if not done by Thursday. Thursday's it. That's it. And maybe it makes Thursday more exciting. Cool. Like, great, I'll have fun Thursday, draft, blah blah blah. But I had Knicks playoffs that night too. And it was in the background. I would love to on a Saturday afternoon watch the first 2, 3 rounds and then Knicks playoffs, whatever, after that. The world doesn't cater to me. I understand that by far, but I don't like it. I think you needed to get back to that format of Saturday afternoon, let's draft. Sunday, finish it out. You could still have some intrigue, but you're separating it too much and it's not fun.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. I'll go NahB on this too. Like, give me at least rounds 1 and 2, please. Or like hit me with, something a little bit more than Thursday, and then I gotta go to work on Friday, and I talk about one pick with my friends.
Yeah.
Give me like, at least 2 to 3 picks that I can
Yes.
chat about, whatever. Even if you do the first round on Friday, and then the second, third, fourth on Saturday, fifth, sixth, seventh on Sunday, I'm okay with that. The Thursday thing is BS, and it's kind of stupid. Um, there's pushing things that say that Detroit broke the draft record. Yeah, it's fucking 3 days long. Like yeah. I don't know. I used to get locked in for the draft. I still do get locked in for the draft, but these guys know who they're picking in the top 10. They know one of two guys. We don't need this much time on the clock. And when you get to it was Saturday, I'm watching this draft, and they're not even talking about picks. They're just happening in the
No,
background.
the picks happen and you're just analyzing. And it's
Yeah.
like,
And
okay,
they're just
what is this?
analyzing it as they see fit. And like,
Yeah.
you know
Talk
what?
about talk about the guy who just got picked so I can learn about him.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's what I want to get back to. I'm gonna go NahB with this on you. I think as much as it's become, you know, an event, let's like let's keep what's special about it special, right? And they're teasing the scheduled release or whatever as like a thing that everybody should be excited about. And I get that. Premier League soccer, they were like pumped about that type of stuff as well. But like,
It's all for content now, I think.
exactly,
So
they're just trying to push content in the off season. I'd rather see more of a nicely tucked in event rather than, you've got Mike Greenberg trying to catch up on 3 picks with, 7 different draft experts. And, let's just watch the draft. Let's get back to what it was. And, especially on the second and third day, there shouldn't even really be a third day. It should just be 2 days.
yes, agreed. All right, so we're on the same page there. Uh, it was sure it was a fun draft, but again, it's just I forgot about it. It's Thursday. It's Sunday. We're recording this right now. Thursday was the
I mean,
highlight,
you got the
and
Islanders, you got
there's too
the
much going
Knicks, you
on.
got
There's
the
too much.
Yankees, you got
It's
yeah,
such a big sports time, and that it's awesome. But it was a great first round. It was a fun first round. All those quarterbacks, a lot to talk about. But
right.
just I don't know. I think the kids in college are missing out on a fun Saturday of the draft. That's my core memory. That's what and I would still enjoy that. Like Saturday afternoon, we were out and about, so it's fine. But we got home at 1. I would love to turn the draft on and then be like, oh, let's go. Like it's draft time. We talked NBA playoffs. We talked NFL draft. We touched on the NHL, but yeah, is what it is. Baseball is in full swing, and we got some good teams. Me and you, we got some good teams. My Yankees are atop the AL East as we speak at 19-10, and your Orioles are just below us after dropping a series to the Oakland A's 17-10. I can't even make fun of you because we just dropped a series to the Oakland A's before that. And
Wait,
apparently
we
they're
just dropped a series to the A's?
yeah, yeah. You didn't get swept. You showed me all your cute sweep stats, but you lost 2 or 3.
That's the first series
Them.
we've lost since 2022.
Well, aside from the playoffs, the regular season loss. Yeah, but you guys didn't get swept. That was good.
Were you in the playoffs?
Last year? No. Last year. That was so long
Yeah.
ago. I remember they look at that.
Let's move on.
Um, Yankees and A's both lost series. Yankees and O's just both lost series to the A's. Real quick, credit to them. They're playing some way better baseball
Fuck
than
'em.
expected. Mason Miller as a closer is a beast.
He's
So
a friend
cool.
of the pod.
Friend of the pod. Big fans of Mason Miller. So cool there. But the important thing here is Monday begins a huge
I'm
4-game
hyperventilating.
series. Excuse me? Excuse me?
I'm hyperventilating.
Yeah, you ready for it?
No,
Huge 4-game series. Orioles, Yankees in Baltimore. Are you ready? You ready for it? Are you ready
no,
for it?
no. I'm a little bit nervous, but at least we have our new wall. It's better than the past.
Yeah, yeah. Yankees just scored 15 plus runs in back-to-back games against the Milwaukee Brewers. That wall might need to be moved back a little bit more. We'll see. But you guys do have better pitching than the Brewers. The Brewers are weird. The Brewers have a good record, have a decent offense, but man, they are what they are. But it's go time here. This is the biggest first big series of the season
I
for
think
our
so.
teams, and I think we might need to do a little wager here. I think yeah, I think that needs to happen. I don't know about you, but it's Yanks O's. It's a 4-game series. What do we do?
I don't know, but I've got the better team. So whatever you're thinking.
He's got the better team. So whatever I'm thinking.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we can make it fun, or we can do cash. I mean, I would say, uh, if you're down, loser of the series has to wear the opposing team's cap on the next pod.
No, it's never gonna happen. I'm sorry. I'll never agree to that.
We'll
Thank you.
never,
No,
will
it's
never.
normal in normal relationships, normal friendships, normal whatever. That's a legitimate thing. It's never gonna happen. Absolutely fucking not. Absolutely fucking not.
Oh,
I don't even let my kids put
no.
that shit on.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. All right, so we'll make a little side wager.
Yeah,
We'll bet some kashish, and the winner will get bragging rights on the next pod.
that's fine. That's fine. I will never wear
All right.
any.
Doesn't love content, doesn't love the pod. I get it. It's fair. Could have been a fun thing to
No,
do.
I respect myself too much. I love I love myself and my life, and I'm a man of
Uh,
convictions, and you're the same. So I wouldn't expect you to put
we're an
on
Orioles
your
cap.
team's
They don't
colors.
really. It's whatever.
Hey, you think you're
They don't
so
really as matter to
you
me
think
as
you're on
much
some mountain up here shouting
as.
down at us still? You guys are an average ass franchise over the past few decades now. 2 decades now. You're pretty fucking average.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, yeah. Two decades. Okay. We won. Where you starting that? We won a World Series. Did you? Did you guys win one in the last 2 decades?
We were in the playoffs last year, were you?
No, but we won the same amount of games in the playoffs, despite that. So
Don't
it's
care. We
it's
were
one
in the
of those.
playoffs. You were not. You cannot stand on 1941 with me. 1942,
40. I don't
1965.
care about those.
I'm
I'm not
sorry.
talking
I don't
about
want to hear
those.
shit about before you were fucking
I'm
born.
not talking about those.
Absolutely
I'm talking
fucking
about the
not.
ones that I have seen and loved
Yeah,
and
good for
well
you.
enough to
Good for
enjoy.
you.
It's been
The
great.
tide's turning. The tide is turning.
Look. Fun games, everything. Bottom line, if it came down to me, it would be Yanks O's at the end of it every year, and may the best man win. And I think you would agree to that. Um, you don't like the Rays, you don't like the Blue Jays, you're not into
I
the
fucking
rest
hate the
of this
Blue Jays.
division. So fuck them. It comes down to Yanks O's. I think we can gentlemen's agreement there. Let's root for each other to be at the top, and when it all comes down to it, Yanks O's may the best team win, and that's that. But If it comes down to a playoff series, I think we might have to revisit that cap bet. Might have to. Just throwing it out there. Get you in
That's
I'm gonna
never
get
gonna
you.
happen.
I'll get you in a
I own
Yankee
like
hat
150
sponsor.
hats. I will never, ever adorn that disgusting interlocking NY on my head.
Series
No.
prediction. Yanks those 4 games.
Split. I'll be nice about it.
That's probably the most likely
A split.
scenario.
I don't know who's
It's in
going against
Baltimore.
Rodon in the last game of the series just yet.
Rodon's looking good.
He's looking good. But we've got Grayson and Clark Schmidt, Kramer and Nestor, Burns and Heel. I will take a
Yeah.
split between Grayson and Kramer and Schmidt and Nestor. I think 1-1.
Yeah.
Burns, I think, is elite, goes over Heel.
Should win that game. Should win.
Yeah, nobody up against Rodon just yet. I'm praying it's not John Means.
Johnny Means.
He's been terrible in his rehab assignment, but we'll see.
But John Means
Could be
could
a
come in
bullpen.
against the Yankees. I'll give props to John Means. Yankees have always struggled against that man. So
Yeah, I've never seen anybody pick his nose more than him on screen either. But
he
yeah, no,
means well.
I think this is going to be split 4-game series. And in terms of the starting pitching matchups, that's what I see. You guys are in Baltimore. We'll see how that goes. Nobody's going to boo Aaron Judge down there, outside of our fans. But at the same time, it's not necessarily that short porch that what you guys are built for in Baltimore anymore. We'll see. We'll see.
I'm excited for it. I mean, you guys got the big boppers in there. Jackson Holliday, Heston Kjerstad. Those guys are crushing baseballs right now. So I'm ready. I'm ready to watch them. I'm ready to watch them. You excited?
Oh, dude, Gunnar and Adley. Just look at Gunnar and Adley's stats recently.
Gunnar Henderson might be the best hitter in baseball. He's been this month. I don't know if he's got that over the whole year, but I mean, you got to give it to him. That's
He's fun.
He's scary. And Adley, maybe the best catcher in baseball.
We're gonna massage each other. Juan Soto's great, and
cradle the balls
and
a little,
Stanton's lovely as well. But Aaron Judge, that guy's garbage. So we'll see what happens. He's your own fans don't like him. Your own fans don't like him.
We love him. We love him.
Do you?
We booed him with encouragement.
Yeah, a real weird way of showing
that's
your
why Aaron Judge is. That's why Aaron Judge is the
booed
captain.
Aaron Judge.
First of all, I didn't boo
Aaron Judge.
A couple of people booed him, and Aaron Judge said, "I have heard worse."
Your fan base booed Aaron Judge.
He said, "I've heard worse, and I would boo me if I'm hitting like that."
You booed your captain.
That's why Aaron Judge is the captain.
Aaron Judge got booed in the Bronx.
He knows the highs and lows of being
Aaron Judge got booed.
Premier New York athlete. You get it's the highs and lows, baby. There are no higher highs, and there are no lower lows.
You booed.
That's the
your captain. You're $1 billion.
I didn't, and it wasn't. I'm sorry, it wasn't a unanimous booing. It was a couple of idiots. I don't agree with booing Judge ever. I'll say that. I agree with booing guys if it gets to that point, but I never agreed with booing Jeter. I think that was the dumbest shit ever. And it was the
but
guy.
It happened.
The guy played here for 20 years. He was booed for like a 3-game series, where he was in the midst of like an 0 for 50 slump.
You booed Aaron Judge.
Listen, it's over. It's so over exaggerated. It is what it is. But
it's a special place.
Maybe if you boo Jackson Holliday, it might get a hit.
Place.
You want to get the kid up here again. Get a little excitement going. But Yanks O's is going to be a fun series. We're going to make a little Kashish side bet for fun. If we meet in the playoffs, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But it should be fun. So
sounds good.
Does it? Does it sound good?
Not even close. I hate these. These are the weeks in the past I've hated. Now I'm hoping to love them going forward.
You could very well kick our ass. I'll set that up. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think a split or a 3-1 win is likely, but we'll see. We'll see. Either way, let's cap off a fun pod with a little good, a bad, and the shitty. Woo! I'll start us off here. I'm going to talk about a superstar in the MLB.
Oh no.
My good, and maybe it's yours, I don't know. My good is Elly De La Cruz.
Wow, let's go.
This man, he has 7 homers, 17 stolen bases. We are
Elly
three and a
of the
half weeks into the
Cruz.
season. Elly of the Cruz. I know he's on some of your fantasy teams. He's on one of mine. The man is a superstar. Just he has that it factor to be a face of baseball if he keeps it going. With the power, with this unbelievable speed. He's hitting 283 too. He's not just power right now. He's doing a little bit of everything.
It's a little more than the three true outcomes.
Yes, which I think hopefully baseball is moving past that as they should.
Yeah.
Because
Please.
I mean the three true outcome guys were
I
mean I just think of Joey Gallo and
yeah.
like
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
what a clown. But the Reds are playing well. They're above 500. With some decent pitching. But Elly is a superstar, and he's my good. He's fun to watch. He has that potential top 5 in baseball, maybe face of baseball very soon. So Elly De La Cruz, my good. Chris, who's yours?
Oof. Well, tough act to follow. I saw an Elly De La Cruz shot over the shortstop that like he jumped and couldn't get, and you knew it was like it could have been a home run ball at that point. Like so, Elly's incredible. Definitely love that. My good, not anybody I ever thought would be good in my life, but somebody who's also been on my fantasy teams, just like Elly De La Cruz. It's been Erick Fedde. Erick Fedde. Erick Fedde is a damn good. Goes over to Korea, learns how to pitch all of a sudden. Oh, boy, did he ever learn how to pitch for a terrible team, just like he did in Korea, a terrible league. He's pitching for the White Sox right now. Last 3 starts, 19 innings pitched, 25 strikeouts, only 3 earned runs, and only 3 walks. Erick Fedde has been absolutely elite. He's been the Merrill Kelly of this year, the guy that comes back from overseas and has a little bit of a swan song. Picked him up in a couple of fantasy leagues, and he's doing pretty well. I don't know if he's like a long-term good, but right now he's damn good. And he had an 11K strikeout outing the other day, or I think it was 2 outings ago. But he looks damn good.
He
and
does.
You know
White Sox
what?
just swept the Rays.
Yeah.
White Sox
And
were
you've
the
got
worst team in
Clevenger
baseball.
coming back, and you gave up Cease in the offseason. It's probably best case scenario, but they dug a nice hole in Chicago, with the White Sox. So they're not coming out of it at any point. But Erick Fedde's been an elite fantasy option, and I'm pretty pumped about him actually.
Yeah, very cool.
So he's my good.
I like it. Keep us going. Who's your bad?
It's Jackson Holliday. It has to be, unfortunately. Yep. I transitioned right into this. I'm not going to miss a beat. I'm not going to play into your reactions either. I'm upset about the Jackson Holliday showing. I definitely am. I mean, 3 for 34, pretty much to start his career. It's upsetting. It's not nice. Gunnar Henderson did the exact same thing, though. That's the only thing that gives me pause. Gunnar Henderson was shitty until May, and they let it ride because they had nothing else to really do. Here, we have an opportunity to be a division winning team, a team that can make some noise in the playoffs. I get sending him down, but when you send him down, you also admit that you were wrong with pulling him up in the first place. And that's some crow that the Baltimore front office needs to eat. And I don't think that this young kid should be up again until August. And that's just my opinion. But at the same time, there goes rookie of the year, #1 overall prospect, all the hype. You kind of played it the wrong way. Meanwhile, with Gunnar, you let it play out and it worked out and he became rookie of the year. I think that they pulled the string on Jackson probably at the right time, but there's more at stake than there was when it was Gunnar last year. So we'll see, but it's pretty shitty. The kid's trying, he's trying so hard. You could just tell he's swinging at everything. It sucks, but it is what it is. He's been bad, and he's my bad.
To me, it just felt unnecessary. Like you got enough young talent in that lineup. Why bring the kid up right now? And to bring him up and hit him ninth, to me, it was just like, hey, Jackson Holliday's here, maybe. Like,
What
I
else are you gonna do though? You're gonna leave him at AAA when the Norfolk Tides are scoring 32 runs a game or whatever it is? What else are you gonna do? There's outside noise you have to listen to, and
but like he's your man. Like, call him up and put him at the top of the lineup. Like, I feel like the 9-hole thing, to me, at least from an optics standpoint, looking from
why
the
didn't you
outside
wait
looking
until
in.
May 5th? Why didn't you
Yeah,
wait
just
until
wait a
May
little
10th?
bit. It didn't
Why
have to
didn't you
happen
wait until
right
the Super
now.
2? And I think that has a lot to do with the business of baseball. The fact that now if you call somebody up who's a top prospect who didn't break camp with you or whatever, you get some sort of compensatory pick. There's a lot of things that are going on with dancing the line between minor leagues and major leagues outside of just the options that are left. There's the rookie of the year votes that accelerate their free agency time that Adley and Gunnar now have been subject to. They're trying to figure out how the hell they control Jackson Holliday as long as potentially possible, unless he comes up and he's a world beater, which he wasn't. So now you keep him down as long as you can. It's what you have to do, and nobody's going to question it now.
Yeah, yeah. But I
But
think
he's
that
my bad.
you
It
have that
sucks.
luxury. You can keep him down. You have guys, Jordan Westberg and Gunnar Henderson in the middle of
But
the
you got a
infield.
guy like
Also,
Kyle Stowers who's
I agree.
26 and he's a top prospect in the outfield, but you have no position for him and he's overperforming. That guy's going to age out of your minor league system
Make a
eventually.
trade. Make another trade. You got Corbin Burns for
I agree.
basically nothing.
I
To
think I
me,
think I think what it is we're going to wait and see if Corbin Burns resigns, and
yeah,
who can we trade for that next potential ace who doesn't or who will
yeah.
potentially
But then
resign.
you're looking at next year. Like you should be looking at this
Right.
year. Like,
Right.
uh,
And that's why I think the early call up from Jackson Holiday, while it was like, you hear everybody calling for it, they're calling for it. He's the can't miss prospect. It should have waited until May. It should have waited until May.
yeah.
And then you can, have that deniability like, yeah, we're gonna call this guy up and eventually we're gonna need to figure out whether or not we have enough pitching, who we're gonna move for, guys like this. I think Santander needs to go. I love him, but I
White
think he needs to
Taters.
go. I know, but he's a Rule 5 guy. He's not part of anybody's plan. Zero people's plan. Like he was just a random plucked pick. And ultimately he's
Worked out.
been great. You can't hate on it. He's been great, but like it's tough to move on from him. So we've got this log jam that we're dealing with. The rules are changing. The goalposts are moving as they're doing this rebuild. Over the past 5 years, there's been different rules the past 3, 4, 2 years, whatever it is. Like, so we got to read and react. But right now, the showing that Jackson Holiday had was pretty terrible. It was pretty terrible.
Who's bad? And he's your bad. All right.
Who's
My
your bet?
bad. My bad. Blake Snell. Oof. What a start to the
Whoa,
season. I mean,
whoa,
the man didn't get his big long-term contract that
buzz
he
his girl.
wanted, that Boris
Whoa,
promised him. And was your girl. He got a nice 2 year, 60 something $1 million deal from the Giants, but he signed it late. You knew he wasn't gonna be ready for the beginning of the season. He makes his start on April 8th. It's knocked around, makes another start, gets knocked around, makes another start, gets knocked around again. And now all of a sudden he's on the IL. Uh, kind of kind of not surprising. The guy's had his issues in the past, in the first place. It's why he didn't get that contract. I think the Giants made the right move, like taking advantage and signing that deal
for
for two
sure
years.
value.
Yeah, but I'm not surprised at the start here. Um, he's been bad, and now he's hurt, and it's a adductor strain. I don't know where they go from there. They're saying 15 days, but it could be longer. So it's just it's not It's bad. It's not what you want from the Giants, from Snell, from a
It's
Boris
no
client.
bueno.
No bueno. No bueno.
No.
So, Blake Snell, you're my bad.
Who's your shitty?
My shitty. Switching gears a little bit back to this series.
Uh-oh.
My shitty is Nick Nurse, Joel Embiid, and the big baby back bitch Philly Sixers.
Here comes the rant.
This team is the dirtiest team I've ever watched play basketball. And Tyrese Maxey aside, I gained a lot of respect for that guy. That's a stud. He's a good kid. He doesn't
Sure.
fall into the traps. But Joel Embiid's the dirtiest player I've ever watched play basketball. And it's kind of like, admittedly, it's my bad for not realizing that earlier because he's been doing this for a while. But you basically, as an outside looking in, you look at his numbers and it's like, wow, what a talent. What a talent. But you watch him play and he just uses his frame to just lean into guys. He's the biggest foul merchant in the league. But not only that, being a foul merchant is one thing. The man plays dirty. He has a history of nut shots. He's done it. He's done it to other teams in the past, and now he did it to the Knicks. He knocked Mitchell Robinson out of the game. He should have been an ejection, game 3, pulling Mitchell Robinson down while he was standing up. Like, just he played like a 7-year-old, angry 7-year-old on a tirade, and it was embarrassing. And his coach, bitching about game 2, filing the complaint. They got their game 3 makeup game where the refs called everything in their favor, and they let Embiid get away with 2 ejectable offenses. And after the game, they asked Nick Nurse about the Embiid play. I haven't seen it, with a smirk.
I agree with all this.
Thank you.
Keep going.
And you watch these games, and Nick Nurse is on the sidelines, and every time the Sixers get called for a foul, even if it's just, this is the NBA. Like, you're gonna foul. Teams, foul. A player lifts up their hand. Every foul is, it's a dumb fan like me watching the game, but except you're coaching it and you're on the sidelines and you are right in the face of referees. He's a child. Joel Embiid's a little. Oh, there was rumors, get Joel Embiid on the Knicks. Boom, that's your center, your big man. Take off from there. I don't ever want him on any of my teams. I would never want that player on my team. He's a loser. He's a bitch. The Sixers will never win with him. He's not going to even be healthy. He's still young, but even if he somehow stays 100% healthy, can you build a team around him? Not with the way he plays. Gross. My shitty is that those 2 and that squad. The rest of the team is ass. Tyrese Maxey's the only guy I respect on that squad, and maybe Kyle Lowry, but Lowry screwed up a couple times in this series, and it's been enjoyable. But man, every time they show Nick Nurse, dude, you're a coach. Show some respect. You're complaining about every single call, and you're backing up your French center who's just a little bitch. It's been unreal. I hope these words don't come back and bite me and the Knicks have an epic collapse, but I don't think it's happening. They're shitty. That's that. Chris?
Price hands emoji.
I'm just the fact that you're agreeing with me.
Yeah,
it means a lot to me,
I mean,
and it just shows.
I watched it.
Yeah,
I watched it with you.
Yeah,
I watched it live. I watched it. I watched the highlights of it. Joel Embiid, I do like as a player, and I think you got to be careful with what you say because ultimately the Knicks have been looking at Joel Embiid for a couple of years now, and I think that they still. I think if they have an opportunity to get him, dude, you get him because he's not a Julius Randle. He's not like
I'll take Julius Randle over that man 10 times out of 10. And I've shit on Julius Randle.
The wrong timing to bring this up.
I get it.
But if you have an opportunity at Joel Embiid over a Julius Randle, you take it every single time, and you know that. You know that.
I don't. I
All
don't.
right. Well, anywho,
The
I'm gonna
injuries, the
piggyback.
complaining, it's not. He doesn't fit into the style of this Knicks team.
Well, that's the same thing with Julius Randle. It's literally the same
No,
nonsense.
he does not. He doesn't. He's not dirty. He might complain. He might have health issues. He's not a dirty player.
Okay. Embiid
Anyway,
had okay. Well, anywho, I agree and I got you. I feel you on this. My shitty was gonna be the Philadelphia 76ers fan base. So yeah, while the Nick Nurse Joel Embiid um narrative has played out on camera, I think behind the scenes has been the 76ers and the Philadelphia fan base really being a big bag of bitches. Honestly, like I don't really know how else to explain it, but like I listen to New York sports talk radio and you got 76ers fans calling and going like, fuck you guys, you suck. Oh, great, great. But you can't even show up in your own arena.
oof, that rough.
Honestly, you were embarrassed. You were embarrassed as a fan base with how the Knicks fans have kind of taken over. I get that you were the 7th seed. You didn't have Embiid for most of the season, but at the same time, you're the one selling the tickets to the New York fans. Like you don't really have a leg to stand on when it comes to this. And I've loved watching the Knicks play because they play like a college team. The Sixers, they play like a team that was built, which is exactly what they were. So they play like a team that has some stars. You know, James Harden was not really much of a loss because you're still playing the same style of basketball compared to the way that the Knicks are playing, which is connected basketball. So my shitty is Philadelphia in general.
I love it. I
I
love it.
kind of can't stand their fans as it is, but you know what? I'm watching a game on TV and it sounds like a home game for the Knicks. It's
Mm,
embarrassing.
it's
It's
phenomenal.
embarrassing,
It's
especially if
phenomenal.
you think your team can actually win. If
Yeah.
you didn't think your team could win, okay, it is what it is. But from what I hear, you think your team can win,
Where
you
are
need
you?
to show up. You got
Where
to
are
show
you?
up.
Wow.
Like,
And it got to the
oh
point where
shit.
Embiid said something after the game too,
There's
which
an
was just
MVP chant
disappointing.
for Jalen Brunson at the
Yeah.
foul
And
line, and then
Embiid was
Embiid
getting
comes
booed at
back
the
and says,
foul
"Yeah,
line. Yeah.
I hear you, I hear you," and it's shitty because you deserve to lose as a city. You deserve to lose if that happens. Like this is the same thing with the Yankees fans taking over Baltimore for as long as I've been alive. You know, cheaper tickets. Let's go down, watch our team win against a team that is inferior. That's what's happening with the 76ers.
Mhm.
And I will tell you, be careful what you wish for because Joel Embiid is the perfect fit for the Knicks going forward.
Yeah.
But at the same time, let's go. Let's go, New York. Go, New York, go.
Let's go. I love it. I love it. Love hearing that. All right. We covered a lot. You got anything else for me,
Woo!
Chris?
No, absolutely nothing.
Nothing. He's done.
Nothing.
Oh, well, if that,
Let's go, birds.
we go birds. Yanks should be fun this week. NFL draft is crazy. Season's closer than you think. It's a great time to be a sports fan with NBA and NHL playoffs, MLB going on. We are on SoBet making picks every single day. You see us one day, we have a bad day, we're coming right back and we're winning you money. Overall, MLB, we've been crushing, especially the last 2 weeks. It's just it's fun. It's fun. And if you want to get on the action, find SoBet, go online, download the app, join with creator code the Sports Clash. You have us and a lot of talented cappers on there making picks every day. Some of them smart, some of them, yeah, we'll see. But sometimes that's us too. But it's just been a lot of fun, just kind of having that every day. Like, hey, I'm looking at the board. What are we seeing? Sunday night, we went 3-1 after a bad Saturday. But before that, too, we've been up. We're up units. We're up units over the last couple of weeks. That's what we want to do. That's our goal. We want to win people money. We want to enjoy watching games that maybe we wouldn't be watching otherwise. The Nerfies, Yerfies, those are fun. Those are, dude, those are intense, man. It's a
Hey
lot of
man,
fun. It's a fun bet. Even if you're not a big baseball fan, you just watch the first inning and you pick, is there going to be a run scored in this inning or no? And
fantastic.
but they're tough. They're really tough to predict. People say they got models, blah blah blah. I don't know. But it's just a lot of fun. So find us there. Follow us YouTube at the Sports Clash, Twitter, Facebook, the all important TikTok. We're posting almost every day, every other day,
It's
weekly
soon
for
to be
sure.
illegal TikTok.
Maybe gone soon, but we got at least another year. We got at least another year on there, baby. So follow us. We appreciate the support. We thank you for listening. Love you.
You.
Have a great night.